Hey guys, First Regardsman here. Today I'll be talking about every single weapon in Space Marine 2 Patch 9.0 and tier listing them. Now, Patch 9.0 did buff damn near every weapon in this game. Some of them are significantly better than they were in Patch 8.0, though some of them still suck. So I'm going to go back through them all today, starting off with the Auto Bolt Rifle. This gun still sucks. This is by far the worst primary weapon in the entire game. It underperforms versus basically everything except for Minotaurus Hordes. Even its perk tree is pathetic, and its CHP recovery is god awful. There is practically no reason to use this thing over like a bolt carbine heavy bolt rifle, let alone better options like the bolt rifle buffed accuracy variant or the stalker bolt rifle, because Minotaurus Hordes, there's just not a hard thing to kill on any class, period, especially with the melee weapon buff. So easy D tier, probably like the worst weapon in the game, period, right now, to be honest. And this thing needs like a significant buff or rework. Now, the next weapon here, the automatic bolt carbine. This weapon does not suck. This weapon overperforms pretty much wherever it goes, especially in operations. It is a top tier performer versus both Chaos and Tyranids. Amazing headshot damage at close range and amazing CHP recovery. Great option for the tactical to keep him alive, because tactical is quite squishy, and this one has like the great contested health recovery, which kind of saves his life at times. Though in siege mode, it does start to fall off post wave 25. That's not really like a slight against this weapon here, because most guns fall off like post wave 25. So bolt carbine, easy A, very strong option for Vanguard and tactical, and even the sniper as well takes full advantage of this. So very strong option. I love this gun. Now, next gun here, Bolt Sniper Rifle. I love this gun. I'll say that right now. I love the Bolt Sniper Rifle. It may be a little too headshot dependent, because if you happen to miss your headshot for like any reason whatsoever, you basically get nothing out of this gun. And that's kind of true for the Last Fusel as well, but the Last Fusel can also horde clear and stuff like that, and this gun does not do that whatsoever. It doesn't have like a super fat beam radius, but it is a ton of fun to use. It has pretty good CHP recovery, does pretty incredible damage, kind of close to the headshot damage of the Last Fusel, though ever so slightly behind, and did get some buffs this patch. I really want to put this in A tier, but I feel like it's not quite there yet. It's a very high B. You know what? I'm going to be nice to the Bolt Sniper. I'd say it's like a low A tier. It's pretty damn good. Like, you hit all your headshots, it definitely does work, and the Sniper class in general is basically unkillable with a Camo Cloak cancel, so Bolt Sniper can put in serious work with targeted shot. It's just not quite on the level of the Last Fusel yet. Now, the next gun here, the Heavy Bolt Rifle. This one is kind of in need of a buff right now. Its headshot multiplier is kind of lacking, which I do understand why it has a lower headshot multiplier. It does fire incredibly fast, and the ammo economy is very good on it. It's just kind of unfortunate that the Heavy Bolt Rifle is superseded by like better options like the Bolt Carbine, and the CHP recovery is like leaves a little bit to be desired. So I would say it's probably C tier. I know I put it in B last time, but like all the other options are kind of better right now, and I think they do outperform it quite a bit. So Heavy Bolt Rifle might be in need of a buff right now, but it's still pretty fun to use. Like, C tier isn't terrible. It's just like it's a little mediocre compared to the other options. Now, Heavy Bolter. This gun fucks. This gun is probably like the best bolt automatic weapon in the entire game. So it's like a bolt carbine, but it also just fires more. This thing can just annihilate any swarm it gets like a headshot on. It is pretty headshot dependent. It may kind of lack damage for like horde clear, because it doesn't have the, this is against like non-Minotaurus guys. But when I say horde clear, I mean this gun is no heavy plasma where like you shoot into the horde and you just annihilate everything there, including the Majoris. This one's pretty much headshot dependent on like individual Majoris, and then for Minotaurus it has to just like wipe them out pretty easily. But Heavy Bolter, easy A. I'd say it's like an easy A tier here. Pretty strong. Just not quite as strong as like a Heavy Plasma or Multi-Melta. Next weapon here, Bolt Rifle with Grenade Launcher. This weapon is incredible. It may have some ammo economy issues because Emperor's Vengeance doesn't give a ton of grenades back, but the DPS output of the Bolt Rifle with Grenade Launcher is stupidly high, and in Siege mode it has an amazing synergy with the Spare Power Prestige perk, and also has just like infinite ammo with ammo boxes. And it's honestly worth spending all of your requisition on this, because the clear rate on this weapon is so damn high that it can actually get tactical to like wave 21 plus true solo. And the only other class to ever do that in this game is Heavy. So anything that is like competing with Heavy for like a wave clear, it's S tier. Let's just put it that way. Like Bolt Rifle, Grenade Launcher, and Operations may struggle with ammo a bit, But I mean, the hardest content in the game is Siege mode, and this thing top performs in it, so easy S. Like, I mean, I was sleeping on this, can't lie, guys. A bolt rifle grenade launcher is that gun sometimes, at least in the Siege mode. Now, next gun is definitely that gun, the Heavy Plasma Incinerator. This is probably the single best weapon in Space Marine 2 for all content. It mops Tyranids, it mops Chaos, it mops High Siege. It might be like the single best heavy weapon for High Siege, period, because the damage fall off just does not exist for this thing half the time. I mean, you feel it a little bit, but like compared to other guns, this thing just slaps. Easy S tier, best weapon in the game in my opinion, only because it has amazing ammo economy on top of amazing damage. And even like the magazine capacity version of this thing still fucks with the charge shots, so charge speed is a big problem. It's just a top tier gun, period, and Heavy is that guy, and this is that gun. Next gun here is Last Fusel. I love this weapon as well. I don't know if I'd quite put this one in S. This is an easy fan favorite. It is very, very powerful for headshot damage. Absolutely annihilates Majoris, Extremis at times as well. Pretty easy to hit headshots with because it has such a fat beam radius. And it also just clears out Minotaur swords pretty easily for a lot of players. Now, I don't know if I'd say it's S because it does not perform on the level of the bolt rifle grenade launcher or Heavy Plasma Incinerator, but it is very, very powerful. So I would say it's a high A. It's probably like the level of a Heavy Bolter. Like, they both do pretty similar things, just like kill everything with like a decent horde clear, decent penetration, and just mop up pretty much all the enemies you could possibly fight in operations. But in the highest waves of Siege, Last Fusel does kind of fall off, where these guns do not. Now, the next gun here, a standard bolt rifle. This one actually got a buff in patch 9.0. The accuracy variant has a ×2 headshot multiplier, and you definitely feel the headshot damage buff on the tactical class if you stack range damage perks. This thing can actually stack alongside, or I should say, it can sit alongside the Stalker bolt rifle and damage at times. It feels a very powerful option and automatic to boot. I would say this one is an A tier in this patch. Probably alongside the bolt carbine. These guns feel pretty damn similar in damage output, just like this one performs better at close range. This one's more like medium range and long range, and it can also perform pretty well at close range, but for the most part, they're very, very powerful options currently, so easy A. If you haven't tried out the accuracy variant of the bolt rifle, I definitely would this patch. It is very, very strong and feels very good to play. Next weapon here is Melta Rifle. Melta Rifle used to be one of the top tier guns in this entire game. I wouldn't say it's quite there. The range variant and the old firepower variant got changed to a rate of fire variant this patch, but the range variant got straight up buffed. The damage fall off is significantly better on it now. I actually like this weapon a lot, and this thing can go all the way up to like wave 25 Siege. Unfortunately, I think it's better on the tactical than it is the Vanguard, only because Vanguard's ammo economy sucks. But it also gives you armor regen that's pretty easy to pull off. It wipes Minotaur's hordes, does pretty decent boss damage at times, like a cleave. I would say it can go into very high B. I don't know if it's quite A. You know, if I'm putting Bolt Sniper in A, I probably should put a Melta Rifle in low A. Or should I move the Bolt Sniper down? This one's actually hard, guys, because the Melta Rifle is pretty good this patch. I just don't think it's quite on the level of these guns. You know, we'll put it in a low A. You know, let's be nice to the Melta Rifle and go to a low A, because this gun does fuck pretty hard this patch, and the range variant is very strong, and anything that can get to like wave 25 pretty easily, which is like, you know, that's kind of like the soft cap of Siege mode. I say it's pretty good. Low A. Not that bad. I don't know if I like the magazine capacity and rate of fire variants that much, but the range version is pretty damn good this patch on tactical, can't lie. Next weapon here is the Stalker bolt rifle. This gun fucks. I actually love this thing. The headshot damage got buffed on the firepower variant for this, the headshot multiplier I should say, and the fire rate got buffed even further on the rate of fire variant. It was already an A tier gun before. It patched 8.0, it's just better now, so it can easily go into like the A tier slot. I'd say it's on the level of Last Fusel. Like, both these guns are incredibly powerful for headshot damage, and they just annihilate whatever they're pointing at. Next weapon here is the Oculus Bolt Carbine. This one got a buff to its accuracy variant to have a ×2 headshot multiplier this patch. That's like the most notable buff of all. I like this gun. The Oculus is pretty fun to use. I don't know if I feel as good using this as I would like a Bolt Carbine or a Bolt Rifle or a Stalker Bolt Rifle, let alone things like even a Melta Rifle on the Vanguard. The CHP recovery leaves a little bit to be desired. I don't really know if this gun fits the playstyle of Vanguard all that much at times, because like a scope, like how often are you actually shooting at range? It does happen occasionally, but I just think there are better options, though it is still a pretty good one. So I'd probably put it in the B tier. I don't think it's terrible. I definitely do not think this gun is terrible, period, but it's just not quite there yet. Now, the next gun here is the Multi-Melta. This gun is definitely there. This gun absolutely annihilates guys. It does stupid amounts of stagger, stupid cleave. Its max hit limit is actually above the Heavy Plasma Incinerator. The only reason I would put this below the Heavy Plasma is that it does fall off where the Heavy Plasma does not in the highest waves of Siege, and the highest waves of Siege are the hardest content in this game, so like any gun that falls off compared to these two is going to be a little bit below them, but it's still incredibly powerful up until that point, and I'd say it's stronger for Siege mode, which is the hardest content in the game than like all these other options are, and it absolutely mops operations on both Chaos and Tyranid, so I'd say it goes into S. Below these two, only because they just perform better at the highest difficulties, but Multi-Melta, I mean, you can make an argument it should be above the Grenade Launcher, because it does perform better in operations than the Grenade Launcher does, but I just like the Multi-Melta, we'll put it here. This is pretty much the same list as before, but yeah, we'll put it here. Multi-Melta is definitely like absolutely top tier. These two guns are like two of the best guns of the game period, and they're on the best class in the game period, in my opinion, so them being both an S makes a lot of sense. So it has just come to my attention that the Instigator and Marksman Carbine are missing from this list, so I have added them in. So next up we have the Instigator Bolt Carbine. Now this gun did get buffed a bit in patch 9.0, the accuracy variant has a higher headshot multiplier now, though I still think it underperforms a little bit. It just doesn't have like the damage or CHP recovery to put it in A tier for me. I feel like the Stalker Bolt Rifle, Bolt Carbine are all just better options than this, and like Bolt Sniper even, and the Last Fusel especially on the Sniper. This is probably the worst gun on Sniper currently, so I would probably put it into B. It's not bad or unusable. I wouldn't really touch it on the Vanguard that much. I would definitely take like the Oculus or Bolt Carbine over this, and also the Melter Rifle. But Instigator, maybe a couple more buffs could really fix this thing, but like right now it's it's usable. It's in B tier, so I think this is a pretty good spot for it. Now, next gun here is the Marksman Carbine. This one had its accuracy variant buffed with a ×2 headshot multiplier, and man, do you feel it. This gun kind of slaps now, especially on the tactical class and the sniper class. Ammo economy is totally fine on it for them. On the Vanguard, it kind of sucks because it doesn't really fit the playstyle of the class, but it's very good on tactical and sniper. And I'd probably say, like, man, this one is definitely better than the Oculus and the Instigator for me. I'm kind of like hesitant to put it in A because when you look at the other guns here, I don't know if I'd quite put on the level of Bolt Rifle. You know what? Marksman Carbine kind of does slap this patch. We'll put it in A. I think it is on at the same level like an accuracy bolt rifle here. It's pretty damn strong. Like if you haven't tried out the new Marksman Carbine ×2 headshot multiplier variant, it is pretty damn good. So A tier for sure. Next up we have Plasma Incinerator. This one's definitely A tier. I don't think it quite performs on an S tier level. It has pretty damn good boss damage, AoE potential, damn good damage against things like Rubric Marines, Determinators, and pretty much any other extremists. Pretty strong option, always has been. Plasma Boost is a super powerful perk, and Tactical takes full advantage of guns like this, so I would actually put it on the same tier as like Last Fusel, Stalker Bolt Rifle. I think it's like right alongside these guys. A pretty damn good weapon, very, very powerful versus Chaos. It also makes like the little floating Zangor and Lighten guys get like absolutely slapped by the fat AoE of your plasma shot, so pretty fun to do that with. Now that's pretty much all there is for the primary weapon selection. There are a lot of A tier here of this patch, but like I said, a lot of these guys got buffed, and the biggest issue most of these guns are facing is that they have bad variants rather than them being outright bad. So for the most part, gun balance is in a pretty good spot outside of things like the auto bolt rifle still being shit, and the heavy bolt rifle could probably use a buff. And now we will move on here to the secondary weapon tier list. And now number one, we have the Plasma Pistol. This weapon is absolutely S tier. This is probably the best secondary weapon in the entire game right now. Patch 9.0 did buff the rate of fire Plasma Pistol, and it charges stupidly fast now. Amazing DPS potential with things like Plasma Boost on the tactical class because you just reach that overcharge so quickly. And really, the AoE gun strikes of this are just top tier for siege mode, period. Amazing weapon. Pretty much always take this now, outside like maybe the heavy bolt pistol, by far like the best secondary in the game currently in my opinion. Now next weapon here is the bolt pistol. This one is probably D tier. There's really no reason to take the bolt pistol. This thing's CHP recovery sucks, the headshot damage leaves a lot to be desired. It's pretty good at times, like maybe getting Pattern of Excellence back on a sniper class, but there really is no reason to take this over a heavy bolt pistol, Neo Volkite, or even the Inferno pistol, because it doesn't really fit a niche. Like any niche the bolt pistol would fit is like kind of covered by the heavy bolt pistol, because for some reason Saber made gun strikes such a fundamental part of this game's like I guess action economy. And really, if you don't have good gun strike damage, you're just going to be a mediocre secondary period. That's just the way it works currently, which is why the heavy bolt pistol and plasma pistol are so strong right now. And this gun's gun strike damage kind of sucks, and the gun itself is not even as good as a heavy bolt pistol, so there's really no reason to take it. Probably pretty much D tier for that reason. That's my reasoning behind this. Now, next gun is the Inferno pistol. I actually like the Inferno pistol. This thing got buffed this patch. It could definitely use a gun strike damage buff, because I don't think it like outperforms either the plasma pistol or the heavy bolt pistol as an actual gun. And like for any gun to be worth taking over losing gun strike damage, or like be worth losing gun strike damage on, I think the actual gun would have to perform like over the other gun options, and this one definitely doesn't. It's by no means bad as a gun. It's actually pretty fun to use and has pretty good armor regen. It's just kind of stupid that the gun strike damage is so low. Even with like the AoE potential, it doesn't really make up for it at all. So I'd say this one's probably like a low B. It's probably one of the better guns currently for secondary options outside like the heavy bolt pistol and things like that, but it's by no means A tier or S tier. Next gun is Heavy Bolt Pistol. This gun has amazing gun strike damage, probably like the best in the entire game. The actual gun component of this is very powerful as well. Can shoot down Neurothropes and shoot down Zoanthropes quite easily. Also does significant damage to Rubric Marines and Majoris. A very strong option. This used to only be on the Assault class, but they gave it to all the other classes at some point in the game, and that may have been a mistake, but hey, I mean, I doubt they were really hurting for it. So S tier for sure. Only gun that competes with this one is a plasma pistol in my opinion, and gun strike damage just puts you in the top tier because gun strikes are so ever present in Space Marine 2. Now the next weapon here is the Neo Volkite pistol. I actually like this gun a ton. This thing is amazing for dealing boss damage and AoE at times in the siege mode. Also great for clearing spore mines and cultists. It also does pretty damn good damage in hordes versus terminators and stuff like that. Kind of underrated. The gun strike damage is not terrible, but it's not great. I would say this one goes alongside the Inferno pistol. They're both pretty usable. It's just like they aren't as good as these options. So B tier for sure. I don't really think it goes beyond this. Like I wouldn't be like, oh my god, it's my Neo Volkite pistol, put it in A. But I say like it goes to B because they just perform like a B tier level. I just feel like they're viable but not the best, and that's kind of how I feel about the other guns in B, so that's where I'm going to put them. Now that is all there is for the secondary weapons, and now we're going to move on to the melee weapons, starting off with the Power Sword. Power Sword got buffed like all the other melee weapons in this game, and this thing has always been one of the coolest weapons in the game, period. They also fixed the lunging attack out of a stance switch from dodge this patch, so it's better than ever. Easy A tier. This thing kind of slaps. So the only thing it kind of lacks is like CHP regen at times, but you know, the classes that this thing is on are only the Assault class and the Bulwark class, which kind of don't care too much about that now, with things like Defense Mechanism and the Bulwark's stupidly high HP and HP regen with the Vigoring Icon. So A tier for sure. This gun slaps up hordes, it does a ton of damage with things like Power Rake, and honestly, I love it a lot. It's probably my favorite melee weapon in the game currently. Next weapon is the Chainsword. Chainsword has been pretty top tier for like the entirety of the game. Its CHP recovery is like the best of any melee weapon. It also just has an incredible amount of damage and an incredible moveset. Maybe a little bit of a boring moveset, but it's a ton of fun to use. I love this thing. Its horde clear potential is also great. I would put it in an A as well. I think like the Chainsword and Power Sword are pretty close to each other. I might only put the Power Sword below the Chainsword because the Chainsword has better CHP recovery, and they kind of like perform equally to each other in all other respects, except the Power Rake on the Power Sword can reach enemies at a pretty far range compared to the Chainsword. But either way, both very good weapons, both A tier for sure. Next weapon is the Thunderhammer. The Thunderhammer did get buffed this patch. It is pretty damn good. It's just the only thing holding back the Thunderhammer is, first of all, CHP regen for melee weapons across the board is lower than it should be in this game, and you definitely feel it on this one because of how damn slow it is. And the other problem I have with the Thunderhammer is that the Thunderhammer is susceptible to things like Minora's parries. And what I mean by that is when Minora's in this game like set up a parry for you, like where you have to grab or you get grabbed, Minora's grabs will force you to move out of your aftershock with a Thunderhammer. It is incredibly annoying, and like anything in this game that forces you to move, which there is a ton of in Space Marine 2, is going to interrupt the Thunderhammer. It's a little slow for this game, and like the stagger resist of this thing is just not quite where it should be. So for that reason, I put it like a high B. Like it's really good. It does have like good synergy on the Assault class class, especially with Ground Pound and Zealous Blow. It's just not on the level of the other melee weapons as like an actual melee weapon. Most of its synergy just comes from like how it interacts with class abilities, and all these other guns kind of got like all these other melee weapons got normalized for their Ground Pound damage as well, so they're even better for that this patch. And like the Thunder Hammer is by no means bad, it's just not on the level of these in my opinion. Next weapon is above the level of these because the Power Fist is the best melee weapon in Space Marine 2. All this thing does is charge attack, and that's all it has to do. It has stupidly high boss damage. There is no melee weapon in this entire game that is as good for bossing and just like one-shotting guys in the Power Fist. It is basically a Thunder Punch Fist. You are the Falco Punch. This thing can punch Zoanthropes out of the sky, Neurothropes. It does the single highest damage of any individual hit on the Block Fist. If you like get 2 block charges and then charge them up with Overcharge on the Assault class, you can just one punch a Neurothrope at times, or like 2 hit them. Very, very powerful, incredibly overpowered weapon at times, to be honest. But the Power Fist is just that melee weapon, and it's the best in the game. And if you haven't tried it out with charge attacks, there's a reason this thing goes like the highest phase of siege ever, because it's just the gun. Or, I mean, it might as well be a gun. I was gonna say melee weapon, but this thing really acts more like a gun. Next weapon here is the Block Knife, or the Block Knife. This is the Combat Knife. The Combat Knife is a very powerful weapon in this game. I would say it's about the level of the Chainsword and Power Sword. It doesn't really perform significantly better than any of these, but the Shadow Stab is very, very good on this, and it's really, really good on the Sniper especially. Very strong for bossing, and the Sniper can take full advantage of the Shadow Stab with things like Tactical Ambush. Maybe a little shitty on the Vanguard and Tactical compared to their other options. The Chainsword, but the the knife is by no means bad. So that is every single weapon in Space Marine 2 patch 9.0 tier listed. Now, a lot of these weapons are now in A tier, which is great to see because they all perform at a pretty high level, which is what you want your guns and weapons to do in your game to begin with. There are a few that are like kind of lacking behind that I hope they get some more buffs, although they are by no means terrible. And Auto Bolt Rifle, God save him, and Bolt Pistol, I don't know what they're going to do to fix this thing. Even if they make it like automatic, it's still going to be pretty bad. But these guns could definitely use like a rework or something, but everything else is doing pretty well. Heavy Bolt Rifle might be underperforming, but it's by no means bad. And for the most part, I think the game's balance is in a significantly better spot. And the biggest issues with weapons currently are that some of their variants are just trash, and not the guns themselves have 0 good variants, and that's kind of where you want it to be compared to where it was last patch, for like some guns just outright sucked. And hopefully you guys agree with this list, and if you don't, let me know what yours is in the comments below. And as always, thank you for watching, and if you like content like this, subscribe for more, and take it easy. Bye.